Hello everyone, today I will show you how to create ERC-1155 Upgradeable Smart Contract. As we did in our previous video, we will be starting with a simple contract and next we will make it upgradable together in this video. So this is our contract. So guys, first of all let's meet our simple ERC-1155 Smart Contract. I am using OpenZeppelin libraries. The first one is for the standard itself, and the second one is for managing contract ownership. Inside the contract, we have a mint function to simply mint tokens, URI for getting token URIs, and a mapping for saving token URIs in our contract. Before we making this contract upgradable, I want to deploy the current version and see if everything works okay. So let's compile it at first. For testing, I'm going to use Remix Virtual Machine London and let's deploy the current version. As you can see, I have deployed my contract successfully. So let's extend the interface. I'm going to mint a token for testing. This is our mint function, and I created a metadata for our tutorial. This is our metadata. Inside we have name, description, and image. Just a simple metadata. And if we see the image, yeah, it also works. It also works. So let's copy the URI. For amount, I'm going to set 10, and let's paste our token URI. And for data, I will just write 0. Just represents nothing. So let's mint our first token. As you can see, the token ID increased from 0 to 1, and token URI, we can see it returns the token URI. Yeah, it works okay. Yeah, let's make it upgradable now. I'm going to clear this interface. To make ERC-1155 standard smart contracts upgradable, we need to replace all the OpenZeppelin libraries with their upgradable versions. These libraries need to be replaced with their upgradable versions. I paste the libraries here below. As you can see, all the previous libraries have their upgradable versions. For the standard itself, we have ERC-1155 upgradable. For ownable, we have ownable upgradable. I'm going to remove previous versions, previous libraries. And for making this contract upgradable, we have to use two other libraries, which is initializable and UUPS upgradable. After replacing all the libraries, we also need to replace them inside the code base. For example, these are previous versions. We need to replace them. And we also need to extend the contract with initializable and UUPS upgradable. So let's add them. Now when we compile, we are going to get some errors. So let's compile and see. To fix this error, we need to add this function, this mentioned function, to our contract, which is authorize upgrade. So let's add it. This authorize upgrade function comes from UUPS upgradable library. If we open that library and scroll down, we can see that function is here, which we overwrite in our example, in our contract. And this is for writing our initial configurations when we deploy our contract to a new version. When we scroll up, we can see here upgrade to function, which we are going to use when we upgrade our contract to new version. So when we call this function, that authorize upgrade function gets called at first, and when we overwrite that function in our contract, we can write any kind of configurations. In my example, I added the only owner modifier, which comes from ownable upgradable library to authorize the owner to upgrade the contract. We have error in our constructor. This is this is not a right way to initialize ERC-1155 standard contracts. We have to remove this from here. Now we're getting success message when we compile our contract. Last but not least, we need to add initialize function to our contract as well. This is for making our configurations when we deploy our upgradable proxy contract. If you have some configurations in your constructor, you would be needed to move them inside the initialize function. So in my example, again, I just init ERC-1155 standard. I initialize ownable library, and lastly UUPS upgradable library. And inside the constructor, we are going to call disable initializers function. So let's call that. This is to lock the implementation contract for future reinitializations for safety. In that way, we make sure we already initialized our contract. So everything looks okay. Let's compile and deploy our ERC-1155 Upgradeable Smart Contract and test it out. When we deploy UUPS Upgradable Smart Contracts using Remix Virtual Machine, we are going to have these checkboxes: upgrade with proxy and deploy with proxy. For deployment, we need to check the deploy with proxy option. Let's check that. And let's deploy our contract. The deployment process takes 2 steps when we deploy upgradable smart contracts. The first one is for the implementation contracts, and the second one is for actual upgradable proxy contract. So let's approve these steps, approve this as well. After approving these steps, we can see we have deployed 2 contracts here. As I said, the first one is the implementation contract, and the second one is our upgradable ERC-1155 smart contract. Now let's mint some tokens and test our upgradable smart contract. For amount, I just type 10, and for token URI, I'm going to copy the metadata URI, our metadata URI, and paste here. For data, I write 0, like that. It represents nothing. So let's confirm our transaction. Yeah, we successfully did that, and let's see, we have token ID, new token ID, and if we look at the URI, yeah, it works fine. Now let's add something new to our contract and upgrade this current version to that new version. I'm going to add
new counter, for example, on count.
For example, I want to increase this value when we upgrade, when we mint new token. For example, I added a new argument to our mint function, and when this parameter is true, we are going to increase this value inside our contract. So let's compile. Now, guys, I will show you how to upgrade this current version to that new version. So let's deploy this version. When we deploy that, we are going to deploy it like just the implementation contract. We need to uncheck this box and deploy now. Yeah, we successfully deployed our contract. Let's copy that address and paste it into that upgrade to function and confirm the transaction. As you can see, we got the success message, and as you know, this is the previous version, previous interface. For this reason, we don't have this option inside here. We don't have this function here. Okay. To see that parameter, we need to copy our proxy contract address. Let's clear everything here and paste that address inside this box. And when we click that button, we are going to open this address with this interface. So let's click it, and new interface is created here when we extend that. And let's see, yeah, we have now this value. We have this value here. Let's click that. For now, it's 0. And as you remember, we minted one token, and we can see it's here also, and we can get the actual data related to that token. Yeah, we can get that data as well. The previously minted token, it's also here. Nothing is missing. So let's mint another token. For this example, I say 100. I type 100 for amount, and token URI again. I'm going to copy metadata URI, paste here, and it is kangaroo. Yeah, it is kangaroo, true. And for data, just type 0. It gives us a success message. And if we click that, yeah, it works fine. Let's mint another token, and it's also kangaroo. Let's run it. Now it's 2. And let's mint token, but it's not kangaroo. For example, I write test for token URI and it's not kangaroo. Let's mint that. Yeah, it's same. It's 2. It stays 2. Token URI increased to 4, and we can again get these tokens successfully. Yeah, as you can see, we deployed our upgradable ERC-1155 Upgradeable Smart Contract successfully. We upgraded it to another new version. Yeah, everything looks okay. So guys, this is end, and I hope you understand everything. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.